One thing I've noticed is that you slowed down a little bit. You used to do like 3 or 4 albums a year, which is insane and amazing. But you've slowed down and only put out 3 albums in 2 years, which is still way more than most people do. What's behind that?
Um, I was kind of testing it out to see if I liked that format, and the conclusion is fuck no, I hated it. I only released 1 album last year, and I disliked doing that because there's so much waiting to put stuff out and so much like ramping up to this, and we've got to get, this thing here. And it really made me kind of miss the days when I literally would finish the album and then upload it that day. Be like, all right. Or I'd finish the album, get the artwork the next day, and then click upload for a week later.
I mean, that's what everybody does in other genres,
Yeah, there's a freedom to that. And
yeah,
you let people decide which songs they like the most instead of telling them these are the 8 to 10 songs you're going to like.
Right.
So this next year is really going to be kind of more a return to form of just freely releasing things as I please and as it makes sense. But I don't think I'll ever release just 1 album a year. Who knows? I mean, maybe.
Which is still, again, even 1 album a year is more than the vast majority of bands do. So even you at your slowest is still pretty fast.
Yeah, I would lose my mind if I didn't release an album every year. But this next year will probably be 2.
That's I don't understand how people, just because, again.
What do you do all day?
If you're a musician? Exactly.
You're a professional musician.
Exactly. Well, I think what it is a lot of people like being in a band more than they like making music, if that makes sense.
Yes. Well, it doesn't make sense to me because I'm like, what are you doing all day?
Well, like, I think a lot of people like all the other stuff, but like, again, I'm a shitty musician, but like, I really enjoy writing and recording music. That's fun to me. And I don't,
that's it to me.
But I think a lot of people in bands don't necessarily love that part of it.
That's crazy. I mean, put me in the studio every day.
Right.
Which is
that's
what
fun.
I do. If I have hours of free time, I'm like, oh, it's my off day. I'm going to go write a song, see if there's anything there. And, yeah. And I mean, fair enough to them if that's what they want to do is just hop on stage and play guitar. And that's, but for me, I literally will go insane if I don't write a song, at least a couple songs a week. And yeah, so slowing down was a test to see if I liked that. And I hated it. So we're back. I at least want to do 2 releases this year. And then, who knows, maybe next year we do 3. Whatever,
see what happens.
Whatever I'm feeling. But I'm returning to the freedom of just releasing songs as they need to be released and not putting it in a box and being like, I have to do an album at the end of the year and that's it.
Have a rollout and this and that.
Fuck rollouts, dude.
I just don't think that's the world we live in anymore.
Agreed.
I mean, maybe if you're Avenged Sevenfold or something like that, maybe it's different at that level. I don't know, but like but I don't know if it is. I mean, shit, like Drake and 21 Savage just dropped a fucking album with like 3 days notice.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and it was great, and it's a hit. I just don't think that's the world we live in anymore. Like, I don't think people don't care about big things coming soon and like,
dude,
do you know what I mean? It's like, just give me the fucking song.
I do. And that's like, to me, the last album I did, Goblin Hours, took quite a bit of time to do because I was, again, trying to do everything, and not letting people just do their job. And I was the bottleneck a lot of last year. So stepping out of the way of those things really frees me up to do a lot more and release a lot more music for the upcoming year. But yeah, I don't know. I also was thinking about that a couple days ago. I was looking through my Spotify because I was like maybe a little old school, like I love releasing albums and I like listening through an album. But then
I say fuck albums. Just give me the singles. Give me the good stuff.
Here's what I realized. I I was like, well, yeah, I like albums. And then I was like, dude, you don't even fucking listen to albums.
Right.
You don't. I was like, listen, look at your Spotify. When's the last time you went straight through an album? It's been a long time.
Nobody does
and
that.
So, right. And it's like, if I'm having this, I'm a music guy. If I'm having this expectation on anyone else to listen all the way through an album, and I don't even do that, I'm just like, oh, I like this song. I like this song. I like this song. So that's kind of the approach we're taking a lot more next year, is just like, let's just release some singles, release some, an album, but like, it doesn't need to be this humongo thing where I'm like 3 days from a month from now. You
have to post your trailer with some staticky cryptic thing that's like Wednesday.
God, if I can never do that again in my life, I mean, I'll do it if I have to, but if I could never do that again, I would be very happy. It's so corny and
played out. Who wants that? The people
the countdown
will decide.
Has begun.
Right. The people will decide if it's good or not.
Exactly.
They will, and I don't think there's any correlation between like how much time and energy you put into your rollout and how successful something is, because we can all think of plenty of bands that just busted their ass trying to do this elaborate rollout and nobody gave a shit. And then we can think about stuff that you just put it out on, MySpace or YouTube or something, and then it blew up and you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. There's so much, such an inefficient use of time last year where I'm like, fuck. Like, I can't believe I wasted so much time on that shit. Like, I could have just done this and it would have been better.